You are not entering a new year, you are entering a divine examination of alignment, obedience, and maturity. Heaven does not measure time the way men do. God does not celebrate calendars, he inspects character. The year does not change lives, people change when truth confronts them and discipline reshapes them. Many will shout that this is their year, but only a few will qualify for the responsibility that comes with destiny. Becoming unstoppable is not about speed, noise, or ambition. It is about internal government, spiritual order, and submission to divine intent. You were not created to blend into society, you were sent to introduce heaven's order into chaos. That assignment demands clarity, not confusion, conviction, not convenience, discipline, not desire. The greatest enemy of your future is not Satan, it is ignorance of who you are and why you exist. When a man does not understand purpose, he abuses time, misuses energy, and wastes potential on temporary applause. Hell does not fear gifted people, it fears disciplined people who understand authority and live under it. You cannot live a careless life and expect a powerful destiny. Heaven does not fund rebellion, laziness, or emotional Christianity. The kingdom responds to law, order, and responsibility. Grace is not permission to live casually, it is empowerment to live correctly. The reason many prayers go unanswered is not because God is absent, but because the lifestyle contradicts the request. You cannot ask for harvest while refusing discipline. You cannot ask for authority while resisting structure. 2026 will expose philosophies. It will reveal whether you are led by feelings or governed by truth. This season will not reward passion without principle. God is not looking for excitement, he is looking for obedience. Many want the crown, few want the process. Many want elevation, few want preparation. But promotion does not come from desire, it comes from alignment. You must stop negotiating with weakness, stop excusing patterns that are killing your future, stop blaming environments when the real issue is internal government. A kingdom man or woman does not wait for motivation, they move by conviction. Feelings are unreliable servants, discipline is the language of kings. Your destiny is not a personal ambition, it is a divine assignment. You were not born for yourself, you were designed to solve a problem on earth with heaven's solution. That is why pressure follows you. That is why resistance meets you. That is why comfort always feels dangerous to your spirit. Greatness disturbs ease. If you will become unstoppable, you must submit your mind to truth, your habits to discipline, your time to purpose, and your will to divine authority. God does not bless intentions, he blesses alignment. He does not endorse noise, he empowers obedience. This is not a year for spiritual entertainment, this is a year for governance. This is not a season to play church. This is a season to manifest kingdom culture. Heaven is watching who can be trusted with influence. Angels respond to order. Authority follows alignment. You are not late. You are being prepared. But preparation requires submission. And submission requires humility. And humility requires truth. If you can receive correction, you can receive promotion. If you can embrace discipline, you can carry authority. The unstoppable life is not built in public applause. It is formed in private obedience. When no one sees you, when no one claps, when discipline costs comfort, that is where kings are made. The government of the mind is the silent authority shaping every visible outcome in a person's life. And until that government is corrected, no prayer, prophecy, or desire can override its influence. A man may speak faith with his mouth and still live defeated because his thinking has not submitted to truth. The mind is not neutral territory, it is a seat of rulership. And whatever philosophy occupies it becomes the law by which the life operates. Many people want change in circumstances while refusing change in thinking. But the kingdom never adjusts environments to accommodate broken mindsets. Heaven waits for the mind to realign before it releases new levels of responsibility. Destiny is not delayed by time, it is delayed by mentality. Speed in life is not determined by effort alone, but by accuracy of thought. Because wrong thinking creates friction, resistance, and unnecessary struggle. The greatest battle of your future is not external opposition, but internal permission. What you allow to live in your mind will eventually rule your behavior. Thoughts are not harmless ideas, they are instructions waiting for agreement. Every action is first authorized in the mind. Poverty is first a mindset before it becomes a condition. Fear is first a philosophy before it becomes paralysis. Discipline is first a decision before it becomes a lifestyle. When the mind is governed by truth, the life moves with clarity and speed. When the mind is governed by confusion, the life moves in circles while mistaking activity for progress. God never empowers a confused mind because power in the wrong mindset becomes destructive. That is why revelation always precedes elevation. Before God changes a man's location, he confronts his thinking. Before he enlarges territory, he reforms perspective. Many people pray for doors to open while God is trying to close mental doors that keep them trapped in small thinking. You cannot move faster than your understanding allows. You cannot go further than your belief system permits. Your future is waiting on your agreement with truth. The kingdom does not operate on emotion, it operates on law. Feelings fluctuate, truth remains constant. A mind governed by feelings will always live inconsistently. One day bold, the next day fearful. One day motivated, the next day tired. But a mind governed by truth moves with stability because it is anchored in conviction rather than mood. This is why discipline is not an emotion. It is a decision rooted in understanding. Kings do not wait to feel like ruling. They rule because it is their responsibility. Many believers are sincere but mentally undisciplined. They love God but resist structure. They want blessings but reject systems. They desire authority but avoid accountability. This contradiction slows destiny. Heaven does not respond to sincerity alone. It responds to alignment. You can be passionate and still be wrong. You can be excited and still be misdirected. Passion without knowledge becomes noise. Zeal without understanding becomes frustration. The speed of destiny increases when the mind submits to purpose. Purpose is the original intent of the Creator, and when a person discovers it, confusion begins to die. Distractions lose their appeal. Comparisons lose their power. When you know why you exist, you stop wasting energy trying to impress people who are irrelevant to your assignment. Many delays happen because people chase validation instead of vocation. They pursue applause instead of approval. But destiny does not respond to crowds. It responds to obedience. The mind must be trained to think generationally, not emotionally. Emotional thinking reacts to situations, but generational thinking responds with wisdom. Emotional thinking asks how something feels. Generational thinking asks what it produces. Emotional thinking wants quick relief. Generational thinking chooses long-term fruit. This shift in thinking is what separates leaders from followers, builders from consumers, stewards from spenders. Until the mind matures, the life cannot be trusted with influence. God does not rush people into purpose. He prepares them through process. Process is not punishment, it is training. Every delay is a classroom. Every challenge is a lesson. Every resistance is an opportunity to upgrade thinking. But those who complain in process reveal that their mind is still unsubmitted. Complaining is a confession of misunderstanding. It announces that a person does not yet see what God is doing. Gratitude, on the other hand, reveals trust in divine intelligence. The mind governed by truth understands seasons. It knows when to speak and when to be silent, when to move and when to wait, when to sow and when to harvest. Many people fail not because they lack ability, but because they lack timing. Timing is a product of wisdom, and wisdom flows from understanding. Understanding comes when the mind is renewed by truth rather than influenced by culture. Culture trains people to chase trends, but the kingdom trains people to establish standards. You cannot live at the mercy of your environment and still fulfill destiny. Environment influences but does not determine outcomes when the mind is strong. A disciplined mind can turn limitation into leverage. A focused mind can extract wisdom from adversity. A submitted mind can hear instruction even in correction. Pride blocks learning, but humility accelerates growth. The faster you learn, the faster you move. Many people sabotage their future because they are addicted to familiarity. They prefer known pain over unknown purpose. The mind resists change because change demands responsibility. Growth requires letting go of old identities. You cannot become unstoppable while clinging to excuses. Excuses are mental agreements with limitation. Every excuse you keep becomes a ceiling you cannot break through. The kingdom mindset understands that responsibility precedes privilege. Authority follows accountability. If you cannot manage your thoughts, you cannot manage territory. If you cannot govern your habits, you cannot govern influence. Self-leadership is the first proof of readiness for leadership over others. Discipline in private is the qualification for authority in public. Heaven watches how you think when no one is correcting you. A renewed mind does not ask what is easy, it asks what is necessary. It does not ask what feels good, it asks what is right. This is the mindset of kings. Kings understand that comfort is often the enemy of greatness. Ease produces complacency, and complacency dulls perception. When perception is dull, mistakes increase. When mistakes increase, progress slows. That is why discipline sharpens vision and accelerates destiny. Many believers pray for clarity while refusing silence. The mind cannot hear direction when it is constantly entertained. Noise confuses discernment. Constant stimulation weakens focus. A disciplined mind knows how to withdraw, reflect, and listen. Revelation does not shout, it whispers. Wisdom requires stillness. Those who cannot sit with themselves cannot lead others. The government of the mind must be intentional. You do not drift into purpose, you decide into it. Left untrained, the mind gravitates toward laziness.
fear, and compromise. Training the mind requires consistent exposure to truth, correction of wrong patterns, and accountability to structure. This is why mentorship accelerates destiny. Wise counsel saves years of unnecessary struggle. The speed of destiny is also affected by obedience. Partial obedience creates partial results. Delayed obedience produces delayed outcomes. Obedience is not negotiation, it is submission. The mind must learn to obey even when it does not understand fully. Trust is proven by action, not by words. When God sees obedience, he releases momentum. Momentum is spiritual energy generated by alignment. When thinking, believing, speaking, and acting are in agreement with purpose, resistance decreases. Things begin to fall into place. Opportunities appear. Connections form. Doors open. Not because of luck, but because alignment attracts provision. The kingdom supplies what it demands. A misaligned mind creates internal conflict. Conflict drains energy. Energy wasted on internal battles cannot be used for forward movement. Peace of mind is not the absence of challenges. It is the presence of clarity. Clarity simplifies decisions. Simple decisions save time. Time saved accelerates destiny. Many people are busy but not effective. Activity without direction is distraction. A focused mind prioritizes impact over movement. It understands that not every opportunity is assignment. Saying yes to the wrong thing is as damaging as saying no to the right thing. Discernment is a function of a trained mind. The mind must be guarded because information shapes perception. What you consume mentally will eventually influence your actions. Garbage thinking produces broken living. Truth-based thinking produces stability and strength. This is why discipline includes what you watch, what you listen to, and who you allow to influence you. Association affects thinking, and thinking affects destiny. Fear is one of the greatest enemies of speed. Fear slows decisions, delays obedience, and weakens resolve. Fear is rooted in imagination disconnected from truth. Faith, on the other hand, is imagination submitted to divine promise. A mind governed by faith moves boldly because it trusts the source of instruction. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the refusal to obey it. The unstoppable life is not marked by the absence of obstacles, but by the mastery of response. Obstacles reveal mindset. Pressure exposes beliefs. Crisis does not create character, it reveals it. When pressure comes, a disciplined mind responds with wisdom rather than panic. Panic is evidence of lack of preparation. Preparation is the hidden accelerator of destiny. What you practice privately determines how you perform publicly. The mind trained in preparation does not fear opportunity, it welcomes it. Opportunity exposes readiness. Those unprepared feel threatened by opportunity because it demands performance. The government of the mind also determines endurance. Those who quit easily reveal shallow understanding. When purpose is clear, endurance increases. When understanding is deep, perseverance becomes natural. People quit not because things are hard, but because they do not see the value of the struggle. Vision gives pain meaning. The kingdom mindset understands that suffering is sometimes instructional. Not all pain is punishment. Some pain is refinement. Gold is not destroyed by fire, it is purified. A mind governed by truth does not waste suffering, it extracts wisdom from it. That wisdom becomes strength for future seasons. The speed of destiny is multiplied when the mind embraces responsibility for growth. Blame slows progress. Victim thinking paralyzes initiative. Ownership empowers change. When you take responsibility for your thoughts, actions, and reactions, you regain control over your future. Control begins internally before it manifests externally. Many people are waiting for permission to become who they already have authority to be. Permission is often internal. The mind must give itself consent to grow, to change, to lead, to step forward. Fear of criticism keeps many people small, but criticism is the price of visibility. Those who do nothing are rarely criticized. Those who move attract resistance. Resistance is not proof of wrong direction. It is often confirmation of significance. The enemy does not fight what poses no threat. A disciplined mind interprets resistance correctly. It does not retreat at the first sign of opposition. It evaluates, adjusts, and advances. The government of the mind also affects relationships. A mature mind chooses relationships based on purpose, not convenience. It understands that destiny partnerships are strategic. Wrong associations drain vision and dilute focus. Right associations sharpen purpose and accelerate growth. Time management is another expression of mental government. How you use time reveals what you value. A disciplined mind invests time intentionally. It understands that wasted time cannot be recovered. Urgency is not panic, it is awareness of purpose. Discipline is not a punishment imposed by God. It is a privilege entrusted to those who are serious about becoming who they were created to be. The kingdom does not reward talent first, it rewards order. Gifted people are everywhere, but disciplined people are rare, and rarity is what creates value. Authority is never given to enthusiasm. It is granted to alignment. Heaven looks for men and women who can be trusted with power without being corrupted by it. Discipline is the proof of that trust. It is the invisible structure that holds visible success together. Without discipline, blessings become burdens and opportunities become traps. Many people want authority because they want influence, recognition, and control. But true authority begins with self-government. If you cannot say no to yourself, you are not ready to say yes for others. Discipline is the ability to delay pleasure for the sake of purpose. It is choosing what you want most over what you want now. This is why many lives stagnate, because the mind is addicted to immediacy. The kingdom does not operate on impulse. It operates on principle. Principle demands patience. Patience is not waiting passively. It is actively obeying while time unfolds. Authority flows to those who respect process. Process is the pathway of discipline. Every stage you skip will later demand payment with interest. Shortcuts feel fast, but they lead to long delays. The discipline of preparation saves years of correction. Many people are promoted before they are prepared, and their exposure becomes their embarrassment. God is not impressed by speed if character cannot sustain it. He is more concerned with longevity than momentary success. The reason discipline produces authority is because discipline creates consistency. Consistency builds trust. Trust attracts responsibility. Responsibility releases authority. Authority multiplies impact. This is the divine sequence. You cannot bypass it without consequences. A life without discipline may look free, but it is actually vulnerable. Anything unguarded is exposed to invasion. Discipline is protection. It guards time, energy, focus, and integrity. In the kingdom, authority is always connected to obedience. Even Jesus operated under authority before exercising authority. He submitted to divine order, and because of that submission, all authority in heaven and on earth was given to him. Submission is not weakness, it is alignment. Alignment positions a person under the flow of power. Rebellion cuts that flow. This is why gifted rebels struggle despite their ability. Heaven does not empower disobedience. Discipline corrects appetite. Many failures are appetite-driven. Uncontrolled appetite leads to compromised decisions. Whether it is appetite for pleasure, attention, money, or comfort, appetite without discipline becomes destructive. Discipline teaches restraint. Restraint produces strength. Strength sustains authority. Kings are not ruled by cravings, they rule over them. When appetite rules a man, destiny becomes negotiable. The disciplined life understands that freedom is not the absence of boundaries, it is the presence of order. Boundaries protect purpose. Without boundaries, focus leaks. Without focus, progress slows. Many people confuse freedom with irresponsibility. True freedom is the ability to choose purpose over impulse without inner conflict. That peace comes only through discipline. Discipline also refines vision. A distracted mind cannot see clearly. Discipline eliminates unnecessary noise. It teaches you to prioritize what matters most. When vision is clear, decisions become simpler. Confusion is often the result of undisciplined thinking. Discipline brings clarity, and clarity brings speed. The kingdom demands disciplined speech. Words create atmosphere. Undisciplined speech leaks authority. Complaining weakens influence. Gossip corrupts trust. Idle words dilute power. Discipline teaches silence when necessary and boldness when required. Leaders know when to speak and when to withhold. Authority listens before it declares. Discipline also governs emotions. Emotional instability disqualifies leadership. Authority requires emotional intelligence. This does not mean suppressing emotions, it means mastering them. A disciplined person does not deny emotion, but refuses to be led by it. They respond rather than react. Reaction is emotional, response is intentional. Authority is revealed in response. Many people are spiritually sincere, but emotionally immature. They pray, worship, and fast, yet collapse under pressure because emotions remain undisciplined. Emotional discipline is developed through self-awareness, accountability, and truth. When emotions are disciplined, resilience increases. Resilience is necessary for long-term impact. Discipline is not built overnight. It is formed daily. Small, consistent decisions shape strong character. Character is what carries authority when no one is watching. Public authority is sustained by private discipline. What you do alone determines how you stand before others. Integrity is discipline in action. The disciplined life understands seasons of solitude. Constant social engagement weakens reflection. Solitude strengthens discernment. In solitude, motives are exposed. In silence, direction is clarified. Discipline creates space for listening. God often speaks when noise is removed. Authority also requires disciplined thinking about money and resources. Financial chaos undermines credibility. Stewardship is a form of discipline. How you manage resources reflects your readiness for increase. Waste disqualifies promotion. Faithfulness in little precedes rulership over much. Discipline trains you to honor value. Time discipline is another foundation of authority. Time is life measured. Wasting time is wasting destiny. A disciplined person honors appointments, respects deadlines, and values moments. They understand urgency without panic. They move intentionally. Authority respects time because it understands its assignment. Discipline also governs relationships. You cannot maintain authority while entertaining toxic connections. Relationships influence thinking. Thinking influences behavior. Behavior determines outcomes. Discipline teaches you to choose relationships based on purpose, not emotion. Loyalty without discernment becomes bondage. Discernment protects destiny. The disciplined life embraces correction. Correction is not rejection, it is refinement. Only the proud resist correction. The humble receive it and grow. Authority grows where teachability remains. When correction is rejected, growth stops. Pride freezes development. Discipline keeps the heart soft. Spiritual discipline is not ritual, it is alignment. Prayer is not performance, it is communion. Fasting is not hunger, it is focus. Study is not information, it is transformation. Discipline ensures spiritual practices shape character rather than inflate ego. Spiritual authority flows from intimacy, not activity. Discipline also strengthens endurance. Those without discipline quit when discomfort appears. Those with discipline push through resistance because purpose outweighs pain. Pain is temporary, purpose is permanent. Authority belongs to those who finish assignments, not those who start enthusiastically. The disciplined life understands sacrifice. Sacrifice is not loss, it is investment. What you sacrifice today becomes authority tomorrow. Comfort sacrifice produces strength. Sleep sacrifice for preparation produces excellence. Pleasure sacrifice produces clarity. Sacrifice is the language of kings. Discipline exposes motives. It reveals whether you are driven by purpose or applause. Applause-driven lives collapse when recognition fades. Purpose-driven lives remain stable in obscurity. Authority does not need validation to function. It operates from assignment, not affirmation. The kingdom does not trust crowds, it trusts character. Character is the fruit of discipline. When discipline is absent, charisma becomes dangerous. Charisma without character creates manipulation. Authority requires integrity. Integrity is consistency between belief and behavior. A discipline also guards vision from comparison. Comparison distracts focus. Focus fuels progress. A disciplined mind runs its own race. It does not measure success by others' speed. It measures faithfulness to assignment. Comparison steals joy and distorts perspective. Authority grows through disciplined obedience in unseen places. Hidden obedience produces public credibility. When God sees faithfulness without audience, he entrusts influence with audience. Influence is responsibility. Responsibility is weight. Only disciplined lives can carry weight without collapsing. The disciplined life understands that rest is also discipline. Burnout is often the result of imbalance. Discipline includes knowing when to stop, reflect, and restore. Rest is not laziness, it is wisdom. Even God rested to establish rhythm. Rhythm sustains longevity. Discipline also requires saying no. Every yes costs something. Saying yes to everything leads to exhaustion and dilution of purpose. Authority protects focus by selective engagement. Not every demand deserves access. Boundaries preserve effectiveness. The disciplined life is marked by intentional growth. Growth does not happen accidentally. Learning requires humility. Skill development requires patience. Mastery requires repetition. Discipline commits to improvement even when results are slow. Slow growth is still growth. Authority increases as discipline deepens. When discipline weakens, authority erodes. This is why maintenance matters. What you build must be sustained. Neglect leads to decay. Discipline preserves what purpose produces. The disciplined mind also prepares for opposition. Opposition is inevitable when purpose advances. Discipline builds resilience before resistance arrives. When storms come, disciplined lives remain stable. Stability attracts trust. Trust expands influence. Authority is ultimately stewardship of influence. Influence is not ownership, it is assignment. Discipline ensures influence is used wisely. Misused influence destroys credibility. Credibility once lost is difficult to restore. Discipline protects reputation. The disciplined life does not chase shortcuts. It honors foundations. Foundations take time. Time builds strength. Strength sustains authority. When storms test foundations, disciplined lives remain standing. Discipline also shapes legacy. Legacy is what remains when influence ends. Legacy is built daily through disciplined choices. Temporary success without lasting impact is hollow. Authority looks beyond now into future generations. The kingdom measures greatness by faithfulness, not fame. Fame is temporary, faithfulness is eternal. Discipline cultivates faithfulness. Faithfulness attracts divine endorsement. The disciplined life understands that authority is not demanded, it is recognized. Recognition follows consistency. Consistency flows from discipline. Those who live disciplined lives are trusted instinctively. Their words carry weight. Their presence commands respect. Discipline trains the will. The will must be stronger than circumstances. Weak will surrenders to pressure. Strong will remains firm. The will is strengthened through repeated obedience. Each act of discipline reinforces authority. The disciplined life does not fear accountability. Accountability protects purpose. Isolation breeds error. Discipline invites correction, oversight, and structure. Structure sustains growth. Authority grows in proportion to submission. Submission to truth, to order, to purpose. Those who submit properly rule effectively. Those who resist submission struggle with authority. Discipline also governs ambition. Ambition without discipline becomes selfish. Disciplined ambition serves purpose. Purpose-driven ambition builds systems, not monuments. Authority is exercised for impact, not ego. The disciplined life understands that success is responsibility multiplied. More success means more accountability. Discipline prepares the soul for weight. Without preparation, success crushes. Authority remains where discipline remains. When discipline fades, authority leaks. Influence without discipline becomes noise. Noise fades quickly. The disciplined life remains teachable even at high levels. Pride stops learning. Learning fuels relevance. Relevance sustains influence. Discipline keeps the heart open to growth. Authority is not proven by control, but by service. Service requires discipline. Serving consistently without resentment reveals maturity. Mature authority empowers others. Discipline shapes identity. Identity anchors purpose. Without identity, influence becomes unstable. Discipline aligns identity with assignment. The disciplined life understands that every decision votes for the type of person you are becoming. Daily decisions shape destiny. Discipline ensures those decisions align with purpose. Authority is the fruit of disciplined living, not the reward of desire. Desire initiates the journey, discipline completes it. Those who embrace discipline inherit authority. The kingdom advances through disciplined people, not gifted ones alone. Gift opens doors, discipline keeps them open. Many enter rooms they cannot remain in. Discipline produces credibility in heaven and on earth. Heaven responds to obedience. Earth responds to consistency. Authority operates in both realms. The disciplined life is unstoppable because it is stable. Stability outlasts talent. Stability survives storms. Stability carries legacy. Discipline is not glamorous, but it is powerful. It works quietly, consistently, relentlessly. Over time, it produces authority that cannot be ignored. Those who choose discipline choose destiny. Those who reject discipline choose delay. Authority is waiting where discipline is embraced. The disciplined life does not need to announce itself. Its fruit speaks. Authority is recognized by results, not declarations. Discipline is the hidden force behind every lasting impact. Without it, everything collapses eventually. With it, even small beginnings become unstoppable. Purpose is not a personal invention. It is a divine assignment embedded into the spirit of a person before they ever took their first breath. No one discovers purpose by accident, and no one fulfills it casually. Purpose demands alignment, and alignment demands sacrifice. Many people are frustrated not because life is unfair, but because they are misaligned. Frustration is often the sound of purpose being ignored. When a person lives outside their assignment, even success feels empty and progress feels heavy. Purpose carries grace, and grace makes difficult things sustainable. Alignment is the agreement between heaven's intention and earthly behavior. When alignment is present, effort feels lighter, clarity increases, and endurance strengthens. When alignment is absent, even simple tasks feel draining. This is why some people work hard yet see little fruit. While others seem to move effortlessly with impact, it is not luck, it is alignment. Heaven supplies what it authorizes, but it does not finance confusion. When a life is aligned, provision follows assignment naturally. Many believers spend years asking God to bless plans he never authored. They pray sincerely, but sincerity cannot replace alignment. God does not anoint ambition. Purpose is not about what you want to do. It is about what you were sent to do. Desire must submit to design. When desire leads, purpose suffers. When purpose leads, desire is purified. Alignment begins in the mind. Before behavior changes, thinking must shift. A misaligned mind rationalizes disobedience and spiritualizes compromise. It uses language of faith to justify avoidance of responsibility. but truth confronts comfort. Alignment requires honest self-examination. You must be willing to ask whether your current direction matches divine intent. This question demands humility because the answer may require change. Change is resisted because it threatens identity. Many people attach their identity to activity rather than assignment. They confuse what they do with who they are. Purpose separates identity from function. You are not your job, your title, or your achievements. Those are expressions, not essence. When identity is rooted in purpose, transitions do not destroy confidence. When identity is rooted in function, change feels like loss. Purpose demands discipline because it carries weight. Weight requires strength. Strength is built through consistent obedience. Alignment is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice. Every choice either aligns or misaligns you. Every habit either supports or sabotages purpose. This is why small compromises matter. Small misalignments accumulate over time and eventually create major deviation. Many people delay purpose because they wait for perfect conditions. But purpose is revealed in obedience, not comfort. Clarity increases as movement begins. God often reveals the next step, not the full journey. Those who demand full visibility before obedience never move. Faith is trusting the direction even when details are hidden. Alignment grows with trust. Purpose also demands separation. Not everyone can walk with you into your assignment. Some relationships are seasonal. Holding on to people who no longer align with your direction creates tension and delay. Separation is painful, but misalignment is costly. You must choose which pain you can afford. Purpose-driven lives learn to let go without bitterness. Alignment requires submission to authority. No one fulfills purpose in isolation. God uses structure, mentorship, and accountability to shape destiny. Pride resists authority because it wants control. But authority is a teacher. Submission accelerates growth. Those who refuse submission remain self-taught and limited. Purpose thrives in order. Many people misunderstand freedom. They think freedom is doing whatever they want. But true freedom is doing what you were created to do without resistance. When a fish is in water, it is free. When it is on land, it struggles. The environment did not change, the alignment did. Purpose places you in the environment where you function best. Purpose demands courage because it often contradicts culture. Culture celebrates trends. Purpose establishes standards. Those who live by purpose will often feel misunderstood. Misunderstanding is the price of originality. You cannot fulfill a unique assignment while seeking universal approval. Purpose requires conviction. Alignment also requires patience. Purpose unfolds in stages. Impatience causes people to rush processes they do not understand. Rushing produces damage. Damage requires repair. Repair takes time. Patience protects progress. Those who honor process arrive whole. Many people want results without roots, but roots determine resilience. Purpose requires depth. Depth is developed in obscurity. Obscurity is not punishment, it is preparation. What grows deep can stand tall. What grows fast without depth collapses easily. Purpose values longevity over visibility. Alignment also refines motive. Why you do something matters as much as what you do. Wrong motives corrupt good actions. Purpose purifies motive because it is bigger than ego. Ego wants recognition. Purpose wants impact. Ego asks how it looks. Purpose asks what it produces. When motive is pure, endurance increases. Purpose demands responsibility. Responsibility is ownership of assignment. Those who avoid responsibility avoid purpose. Purpose is not convenient. It requires sacrifice of comfort, time, and sometimes reputation. Sacrifice is the language of purpose. What you are unwilling to sacrifice reveals what you do not value. Alignment also requires focus. Purpose narrows options. Not everything good is right for you. Distraction is the enemy of destiny. Many lives stall not because of sin, but because of distraction. Good things can delay great assignments. Focus protects purpose. Purpose gives meaning to suffering. When pain is connected to purpose, it becomes bearable. Without purpose, pain feels pointless. Purpose does not eliminate suffering, it redeems it. Every challenge becomes training. Every obstacle becomes instruction. Purpose turns trials into tools. Alignment affects energy. Purpose-driven people may be tired, but they are not drained. Misaligned people feel exhausted even when inactive. Energy follows alignment. When you operate in purpose, grace replenishes strength. When you operate outside purpose, effort depletes energy. Purpose also shapes decision-making. Decisions become simpler when purpose is clear. Confusion decreases. Indecision fades. Purpose acts as a filter. If something does not support assignment, it is declined without guilt. Guilt-free focus is a sign of alignment. Alignment requires truth. You cannot align with purpose while living in denial. Truth confronts excuses. Excuses protect comfort. Purpose demands honesty. Honest assessment is painful, but deception is destructive. Truth may hurt temporarily, but misalignment damages permanently. Purpose is always connected to service. It is never self-centered. Purpose exists to solve problems. When you discover purpose, you discover responsibility to others. Fulfillment comes from contribution, not accumulation. Purpose-driven lives measure success by impact. Alignment also requires perseverance. Purpose is tested. Resistance will come. Opposition reveals commitment. Those who quit early reveal shallow conviction. Purpose requires staying power. Staying power is built through belief in assignment. Purpose gives direction to growth. Growth without direction creates confusion. Purpose channels development. Skills are developed intentionally. Learning becomes strategic. Everything is aligned toward assignment. Alignment also requires humility. Purpose is bigger than personal ability. Pride isolates. Humility invites help. Help accelerates progress. Purpose thrives in collaboration. No destiny is fulfilled alone. Purpose also governs ambition. Ambition without purpose is dangerous. Purpose without ambition is ineffective. When ambition is submitted to purpose, impact multiplies. Ambition becomes fuel rather than fire. Alignment requires consistency. Inconsistent obedience creates unstable results. Purpose requires daily commitment. Commitment outlasts motivation. Motivation fluctuates. Commitment remains. Those who rely on motivation burn out. Those who rely on commitment endure. Purpose also requires faithfulness in small things. Large assignments are built on small obediences. Neglecting small responsibilities delays larger trust. Faithfulness is alignment in action. Alignment affects legacy. Legacy is purpose extended beyond lifetime. Purpose-driven lives think generationally. They build systems, not just moments. They plant trees they may never sit under. Purpose demands integrity. Integrity keeps alignment intact. Compromise creates cracks. Cracks weaken structure. Purpose requires wholeness. Wholeness sustains weight. Alignment also demands courage to confront self. Self-deception is the greatest enemy of purpose. Honest reflection reveals misalignment early. Early correction saves time. Purpose is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet and consistent. It does not need validation. It does not compete. It simply functions. True purpose does not announce itself. It produces fruit. Alignment gives peace. Not comfort, but peace. Peace is assurance of right position. When aligned, even storms do not steal peace. Peace anchors endurance. Purpose also demands surrender. Surrender is not loss, it is alignment. When will submits to design, resistance ends. Flow begins. Alignment shapes identity. Identity rooted in purpose is stable. Identity rooted in performance is fragile. Purpose anchors self-worth beyond success or failure. Purpose also demands vision beyond self. Self-centered lives shrink. Purpose-centered lives expand. Expansion attracts opposition. Opposition refines strength. Alignment requires listening. Purpose is revealed through instruction. Instruction requires attention. Attention requires discipline. Discipline sustains alignment. Purpose demands obedience even when misunderstood. Obedience precedes explanation. Explanation often follows obedience. Alignment also requires resilience. Purpose-driven lives rise after failure. Failure does not define them. It instructs them, they adjust and continue. Purpose brings clarity to priorities. Time is allocated intentionally. Energy is invested wisely. Focus sharpens. Alignment requires trust in divine timing. Rushing ahead creates misalignment. Lagging behind creates stagnation. Timing keeps pace with purpose. Purpose demands courage to stand alone. Sometimes alignment isolates. Isolation strengthens conviction. Conviction sustains purpose. Alignment refines language. Words align with assignment. Speech supports vision. Negative language misaligns focus. Purpose demands growth beyond comfort. Comfort zones limit destiny. Growth zones expand capacity. Capacity carries purpose. Alignment requires continual renewal of mind. Old patterns resurface. Renewal maintains clarity. Purpose is sustained by hope. Hope fuels perseverance. Without hope, purpose fades. Hope is vision anchored in promise. Alignment creates momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence strengthens obedience. Obedience advances purpose. Purpose is the reason you exist. Alignment is how you fulfill it. Without alignment, purpose remains potential. With alignment, potential becomes impact. Alignment is not optional, it is essential. Purpose demands alignment before it releases power.